Happy Halloween, Must Players. This is our podcast. We're going spooky. We've got Chucky. We've got Jules, who is terrifying to look at.
Really sorry, everyone.
And, of course, we have David Fishpether, who is our horror expert. Dave, did you make 31 movies?
I did.
You did?
I did.
What was the final film?
The final film was, funnily enough, a Christmas film. It's called Deadly Games from 1989. It's a French film about this kid who goes all home alone on a killer Santa.
Okay, I could get around that.
It's fantastic.
That sounds unbelievable.
It's absolutely astounding.
Did you intentionally finish on this film?
No, it was part of this horror film society that they do screenings every month, and it ended up being this week was that one. So I added that as my 31st film, and I could have kept going.
You probably will.
I finished like on Tuesday, but that's what happens when you're at home with a baby. You have time to watch horror films.
And this doesn't, of course, upset your little fingerling at all?
No, I do have, I do have a video of, we're watching this movie called Dark of the Woods, or Dark as the Night, or something like that.
But when you say we're watching, you mean you're forcing it upon your child?
I'm sitting there watching it with him in my arms, and I sort of pan from the screen. I got a video panning from the screen down to him, and he's like, I'm like, Daddy, I don't want to watch horror films. I'm like, you will watch them, and you will enjoy them.
Well, just like Jules has brainwashed his children to love Star Wars, I'm sure you're going to be doing the same.
Yeah, I've only gone hard on Addison, then I realised it's not working, so I'm taking a different approach with Eliza this time.
Oh, what are you thinking? How are you going to do it?
Well, I have not even...
You just need a different approach.
I'm just trying something else. Although Addie's still like on board, she knows that Dad likes Star Wars, so she's all for it. But
that's good, at least.
I think she just pretends to like it.
Give it
Anywho, this is a dad talk aside. I mean, we're actually a video game, tech, and film podcast.
Tune in at 8:30 for dads who like Star Wars.
We've got plenty to chat about on this week's show. We've had a couple of new announcements. We got the Neo 2 release date this week. I got a lot of hands-on time with the new Samsung Galaxy Fold, but we wanted to start you off with some big Star Wars news, which is the fact that the trilogy that was being developed by the Game of Thrones showrunners is done, Jules.
Good. I'm sorry.
I'm surprised that you're not upset about this, because I am.
Firstly, Game of Thrones kind of flopped at the end there, and it was basically half written for them anyway.
Preach!
See, I haven't finished Game of Thrones, so I don't have that hate yet, and all I saw was the Game of Thrones guys running a Star Wars trilogy, and I was like, well, they ran 8 seasons of the highest, rating show of all time, so...
I think we just need to kind of take it one trilogy at a time. Like, we're just about to finish this trilogy, and then Rian Johnson's meant to have his own trilogy.
Yeah, we know that there's two other trilogies.
We don't need a whole other trilogy, like,
well, this was going to be before
minds.
that, though. This was going to be the next one, after the Skywalker saga.
I'm fine to wait.
I'm also fine to wait. I'm happy it's done. I have no faith in DB Weiss and the other D something, whatever his name is.
Well, they're doing all they're doing all the Netflix stuff now.
They are, which is... Yeah, we haven't found out exactly what they're doing. Yeah. I thought there was going to be a clash when they announced that massive partnership.
Yeah.
And evidently there is. That's the reason they've decided for stepping away from this project, which is fine by me. I'm actually quite glad about it. If you're upset, let us know in the comments below. But I'm a Star Wars fan. Jules is a Star Wars fan. Meso's a Star Wars fan. And we're all happy it's done.
I'm a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, but
Fish is not happy.
But you're not happy that it's gone.
Like, to be honest, I'm not overly upset because I don't really care about these guys that much. But I just, if anything, I was more excited about theirs than a Rian Johnson trilogy, because Rian Johnson is going to get weird, man. Rian Johnson's going to go crazy.
But this new trilogy is meant to be completely separate from anything that we already know. So that's why I'm fine with it. The one thing that I wasn't really for in this new trilogy from the Game of Thrones guys is that it was meant to be the origins of the Jedi, like how the Jedi were created, kind of thing. I don't want to see that. No,
it's just great to know that they've been there for an eternity. They've always been force sensitive people, and it's just sort of developed.
I thought it was going to be about the Old Republic.
Well, that would have been nice, but no, they were going to do an origin of the Jedi.
That's the rumour that came out today. That's what's being reported after this news of it being cancelled because of them departing the project came out. It was supposedly going to focus on the origin, and I couldn't be happier that it is done.
So much happiness.
I am. I'm actually stoked. When Spider-Man was out of the MCU, I was devastated. When I read this news, I was genuinely over the moon because I don't like what these guys did with Game of Thrones. I feel like they rushed it for this Star Wars project, and now they're just not even doing that anymore. So it just makes no sense how they stuffed it up so bad.
But those of you thinking, oh, but we want more Star Wars movies, we've got an Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series coming out. We've got The Mandalorian coming out. We have episode 9 coming out.
TV. I want big screen, baby.
We've got plenty of big screen.
And the game budget.
We've got Rise of Skywalker and then nothing on the slate. There's nothing announced.
Well, we know
Mandalorian's gonna... They're not
on
dropping
the little screen.
Yeah, but it's still Disney budget.
Yeah, I know, but it's not... I can't watch that at IMAX, man.
In 2 years, there's probably going to be another Star Wars movie out anyway.
There better be. That's all I'm saying.
I think there will be. Plus, The Mandalorian's new trailer looks sick.
Yeah, it does.
That came out today, and it just sort of... It was very similar to the original. I mean, it opened on the same shot.
Shots.
But the extra stuff of the combat that they showed was great.
Yeah.
And a few more worlds, few more ships. The CG looks great.
We hear him speak.
Yes, which we hadn't beforehand. So I think that comes out in just a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, less than 2 weeks away. Disney Plus launches, which is pretty big.
Boom!
And that's here?
That's
Disney Plus here, yeah.
Speaking of Disney, just quickly, we've got these...
what you got there, man?
It's not Star Wars.
No, don't get too excited.
But if you like women with ice
dads,
powers...
kids, Disney nerds... We've got Frozen 2 double passes to give away.
Yes, we'll mention them a little bit later in the show as well. Of course, if you really liked the original Frozen, I mean, it caused a stir everywhere thanks to that really, really, really annoying song, Let It Go, which I still love to sing, by the way. I'm not calling it annoying because it's a bad
it's a
song.
morning
It's a
in my
great
house.
song. It is a banger of a song.
But it
It's a banger.
Yeah.
ruled the world for a time there,
really
particularly
did.
online. So
I think it still does rule the world in some way.
little
Kids
bit.
are still obsessed with it.
I remember skiing one year, and I was up on like the ski lift, and some kid was going down the mountain singing "Let It Go."
I'd be doing the same
and I was
thing.
just like,
Ice Queen.
and then I started singing.
well, it's infectious. You
It
can't help
is.
yourself.
Like I
That's
said,
just...
it's a banger.
Beck says we need an IMAX-worthy Star Wars.
So at least
Well, we're
your baby
getting-
mama is on your side, Fish. That's nice.
We're getting one in December, Beck.
Well, come on, big screen is where Star Wars is
Of
at,
course.
and I'm not excited for the Mandalorian, and we are going to have plenty of stuff, and there's plenty of novels and graphic novels and stuff as well. So there's
Comic
enough
books are
going on.
endless. I
Yeah.
could talk all day about what I'm reading at the moment. Anyway.
Anyway,
While we're on sort of the Game of Thrones creators, even though we're happy they're out in that regard, we do want to add one little tidbit of Game of Thrones news, and that is that HBO, we knew they were developing a prequel. Now we know what it's about. It's going to be called House of the Dragon. It's going to focus exclusively on the Targaryens, and basically it's set 300 years, 3 centuries before the events of Game of Thrones, from what I understand. So we're not going to have the characters that we're used to, but potentially some of the lineage that went to Dany.
so that's way too far back, obviously, to be the Mad King.
Yes.
Damn it, because that's what I wanted. I wanted to see that.
I was expecting it to be something similar to that as well. I don't know whether or not it's going to be based on the books at all, or just completely...
We're going to have dragons, though.
Of course there's going to be dragons.
Well, is it based off that fire? What's the last Game of Thrones book that came out that wasn't a Game of Thrones book? The
I have no
Targaryen
idea.
one. It was like fire and something. I think basically this has actually been written by George R. R.
Well,
Martin,
it says it
from
there.
what
What
I've
does it
seen.
say? Based on the...
Based on the Fire and Blood by George
There you go.
R. R.
Based on the
Fire and Blood.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the last book, and everyone was like, "What the hell?" It was just like the history of the Targaryens, which I think is what this is.
That's
Okay.
that's an hours. All we've got is this little poster. At the
So what
moment.
you're telling me is that we've got the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them of the Game of Thrones series.
Essentially.
Actually,
Which, by the way, terrible addition to the Harry Potter series, because that second movie was absolute
There's
trash.
still another one, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they were setting it up to be...
think it was 5. yeah.
What do you reckon killed it? Johnny Depp?
Just a terrible script killed that film.
That's right.
Because the first one was good. I loved the first.
No, the thing that killed it was they tried to make it to like the final Harry Potter movies where it was really dark and ominous, where it's about fantastic beasts, guys. Have fun.
Yeah.
Let's have fun with these movies.
We need beasts.
Anyway, Beck likes those movies.
Well, fantastic.
God,
Sorry,
Beck.
Now, Beck is also wanting our Frozen 2 passes. Beck, I'm sure there'll be some competition for you, so don't count your chickens before they hatch, but we can probably give one to you, let's be honest. In terms of tech news this week, before we get to the announcement Apple made, I just wanted to really quickly touch on some hands-on time that I got with the Galaxy Fold. Samsung's new device, which of course is basically a phone/tablet. I keep calling it a phablet.
A phablet?
Because that's how it feels. It just feels like a fat phone. It came out in Australia yesterday, I think was the official launch date for it. I got one a couple of days early thanks to Samsung just to give it a test and a try. It is really interesting. I don't think it's something that I personally would use, but I think if you go into it expecting it to be a phone, you're going to be upset with it because this form factor is just a bit too convenient. I think we've all become very used to picking up a phone, knowing it's going to be this size, knowing that we're going to be able to touch everything on the keyboard and it's just going to be fine.
It's chunky, isn't it, when it's folded?
Well, that's it. I gave it to you to play around with for a short time too, and it is a heavy device. The front screen on it is basically useless. It's only good for really calling people, which is, by the way, when you've got the thing open, you actually...
Thank God it does that.
It's like a flip phone?
No, you actually can't you can't make a call while it's open because the speaker is on the front. So even if you make a call, it says swap to speaker or fold the phone, and so it's ringing and you're like, holy shit, like, you have this moment of panic initially where you like slap it shut or like hit speaker. It's just
it's a cool design, but it's not practical.
Well, it's not practical in the sense if you think it's going to be a phone. If you want a tablet that can fit in your pocket, it's sick. And I'm going to say it's really, really cool when it comes to its screen. I know there is a slight crease down the middle that a lot of people have touched on, but I think...
It'd be hard to avoid that.
As first generation of a foldable screen, it's pretty bloody good. When you're using it, it disappears. And particularly for watching videos, there's nothing... Like, this cannot compete in terms of size for what you end up getting. Yeah. Even the huge Galaxy Note 10 Plus is still... I think it's an extra 40% bigger on top of that. So
holy cow.
It's a really big increase. I noticed it. I was having a lot of fun playing with it for about a week. It's still got all the same great cameras that we see in the Note 10 Plus, being wide, ultra-wide, and a telephoto zoom lens. But for $3,000... 2,999 Australian dollars. I genuinely think it's probably a bit more of a fashion item at this point.
Right.
I think people that want to make a statement, show off their flashy phone, and everyone I showed it to was really intrigued. I think they were like, what the hell is this? They wanted to hold it, play with it, see where the screen bent. I think until we get a couple more generations of them, because we know they're coming. Microsoft's doing dual screen stuff. Huawei is. We're expecting something different out of Samsung going forward, and LG. I think... couple generations time it'll almost be stock standard. It's just whether or not you want to go for that option.
We'll see.
Yeah, it's expensive. I don't think I'm gonna.
Yeah,
I don't think I personally could pick them up. Speaking of expensive, I don't know if either of you have a set of AirPods, the Apple wireless ones, but have you seen what they announced this week, Fish?
No, I didn't actually see it.
Well, this is the video that they revealed to the world, their new AirPod, which basically makes it an in-ear phone. So it's a little bit bigger. They presumably attach to your ears a little bit easier, and it's got noise cancellation. Which, by the way, it's not like those bigger headphones.
Yeah, it's in like looks like the insert into your ear.
Yeah, I mean, still very similar form factor. It's just they're actually apparently creating anti-noise. So whatever it hears what's going on around you, and it somehow
it out, like finds the frequency.
Yes,
that's kind of cool. But I'm not really a big fan of the in-ear phone.
Oh, you don't like the big...
I got to feel them. Like, how soft is it?
I love in-ear phones.
I've had a few, but it depends what type they are. Like, I think I had just had cheapy, like, rubbish ones that I'd take it to the gym and be running and they'd just slip out after every leg,
Well, that's because your tip is the wrong size.
There you go.
Your tip's the wrong size, Fish.
Just the tip.
Yeah, just the tip is the wrong size. The problem is just the tip. If you replace the tip, you'll be fine. You might just need a slightly smaller one. Good to know that these come with 3 different tip sizes.
Oh, so nice segue. I like it. That's a good one.
You'll be able to find the perfect tip for you at any time of the day, no matter what you are doing. Apparently, they've got 3.5 hours talk time, where the AirPods are 3 hours, so a little bit better in terms of battery life, and 24 hours of listening when you include the wireless charging.
Which I think is the same with...
Yeah, I swear I've never killed my AirPods.
Yeah.
I've never killed them.
Well,
They
apparently
just go forever.
they've got ultra fast charging, so 5 minutes in the case gives you 1 hour of listening time, which is pretty remarkable.
That's
as
pretty
well.
good.
So I don't know if you're onto the wireless headphones yourself, but they have been announced this week. They are more expensive. I think they're about $100 more.
Whoa, because they're expensive.
they got the tips.
already.
They've got the tips. You
add
pay a
this
lot
tip,
for a good
you
tip.
pay
You
for
want some silicon tips?
Damn it, I was
Silicon
gonna say
tips. It's right there.
Silicon tips.
Customizable fit. You're seeing it right there in the ad, and they're dancing to it. They love those tips. Look, that's what's new from Apple this week. If you've got the new iPhone 11 Pro Max as well as the new Series 5 watch, I think if you'll be rounding out your kit with those if the original AirPods aren't enough for
It'll
you.
cost you about $5,000.
No, they're not that expensive. We should get the actual
No, for the
price
whole
up.
kit.
Oh, yeah. Do you know how much they are, Julesy?
Oh, let me look it up.
You can do that while we have a quick chat about headphones. I've actually... The wireless headphones that came with the Galaxy Fold for me to try were quite good.
Yeah.
But Google's Pixel phone has a really interesting headphone design where they're wired, but the wire actually loops. There's a part of the headphone. So instead of the wire coming directly down, it comes out the top
and it goes up
and then
over
sort of
it?
loops
Yeah,
back
I've
in.
seen
So you
that.
can pull the cord in and out, and it fits underneath the ridge of your ear.
Oh.
So it sort of hooks in a bizarre way. So if you're at the gym or something, it's not coming out. Although after about 40 minutes of using it, I felt like I had it too much
Going.
fixed into my ear.
Too
and it was
much in my
actually-
ear, man.
It was painful
Yeah.
after a while.
They're
But
about
anyway,
$400 Australian.
400 Australian dollars. So
'cause
not
the other
cheap
ones
for
were
the new
about
Apple
300.
AirPods. But look,
I just can't stray from the original design of the iPhone earphones. Like the AirPods are similar. They just fit in my ears for some reason, and they're not uncomfortable. I don't like over the ear ones because they squish my ears. Because again, I probably have the wrong size. But it's I just find those AirPods are great.
have you ever tried the Neurophone?
What is a Neurophone?
The Neurophone are these headphones which were developed by a Melbourne ear surgeon, from what I understand.
Yeah.
He basically thought, why are headphones not actually tailored to the way our ears hear? So we all hear frequencies a little bit differently.
Yeah, totally.
They've got a stand in Melbourne Central, and I had heard about these for a couple of years and thought, this is great. I heard it on Kickstarter, but had never actually gone hands-on with one. My God.
Yeah.
They're the big chunky headphones, but they've got
Yeah.
the in-ear phones inside.
Oh.
So it's really weird to fit
double.
on.
Yeah.
But once you hook it up to the phone, it does a couple of beeps and boops, and it automatically...
Beeps and boops.
It automatically senses how your
And
ear
tips.
feels or
Yeah.
hears. And then it'll play a song for you, and it's like playing in standardized mode. Switch to neuro mode, and then you click it on, and it's a phenomenal feeling. I genuinely cannot
Wow.
rave about it more. They are expensive, and I think they've just started like a leasing program for them. But in terms of a headphone, I've never heard anything better. But again, they're chunky, they are wireless, but
Are they always at Melbourne Central?
I'm
Or
not
is it
too
just
sure.
like
I saw them a couple
I'd
of
love
weeks
to.
ago.
I'd love to. Maybe it's time.
The one thing, I was walking up to that stand and I was like, how hygienic are these headphones meant to be?
Yeah,
But
everyone.
they do have someone there with the alcohol wipes who are just,
Good.
especially the tips. The tips inside get a good
Gotta
work
clean your
around.
tip, guys.
Make sure
You
you
gotta
clip-
clean your tips.
We're going to run through some of the other news of the week nice and quick because we're pissing Jeff off with our talk about tips. Apparently EA and Steam have teamed up. Jules, do you want to run us through this one?
Yeah, they are. EA, they're aligned to their Origin platform.
Yes.
But we're going to see some EA titles making their way over to Steam, which is great for people that just want to keep their games in the one place.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
So it's going to start with Jedi Fallen Order appearing on Steam, which we originally thought was just going to be for PC at least, an Origin exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's exciting times for people who like a neat game library.
That's obviously starts November 15 is the launch of that game, so not too far to wait until we see that on Steam. We also got the Neo 2 release date trailer. Did you ever play Neo, Fish?
Was it the samurai?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played probably about 10 minutes. It kicked my ass and I turned it off.
Yeah. It is a Dark Souls-like game. We found out it's coming out in March 13th. It's
That's
open
cool.
for beta on the 1st of
March.
I really liked the style, like the way it looked. It was a cool, like sort of almost like Neo samurai game.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
It's really cool. I never played it, but it got really good reviews, and I loved watching gameplay of it. I actually watched a fair bit of it on Twitch.
was so hard.
I really do like the Dark Souls / Bloodborne gameplay as well. So it's one that I might pick up. And if you got PlayStation Plus, the original is actually
It's
a downloadable game for November.
Hell yeah.
So
Jump on it.
good time to pick it up.
Dark Souls games scare me.
Yeah, me too. That's why I can't.
Yeah.
I really want to play. What was the last samurai one that came out?
Ghost of Tsushima?
No, that's not out yet.
It was started with an S. Sekiro. And I asked my brother, who's a Dark Souls fiend, and I said, "Oh, what do you reckon? Like, I'm really in this like samurai stage at the moment. Should I play this?" And he said, "No."
Really?
Because I hate those. Like, I don't like the Dark Souls style.
He knows you're not up to it.
Yeah, he says you got to break some controls, man. Don't do it. Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. Look, something that'll be a little bit easier for you. You don't even have to play it because, frankly, it's a TV show and it's coming to Netflix.
Segue.
Is The Witcher. We've known about this for a while. We have seen stills, but we haven't seen a trailer. Well, guess what? The trailer's coming out technically today on Halloween in the US, but that means for us tomorrow. So we're going to have to wait a little bit longer. We would have loved to have shown you it, though.
It's a weird Halloween release.
But there is a little trailer for the trailer.
There is a trailer for the trailer.
For the teaser.
People are doing this a lot.
22
it's
seconds.
like announcement.
I don't know why they've done that.
But it's got a tiny bit of footage in it. It looks pretty good.
Okay.
So I'm really keen for the Witcher series.
It came with a nice little poem. It said, "Oh, little birds with tweets of sorrow, to you we bring some news. For when the rooster crows tomorrow, a trailer shall be viewed."
It's pretty terrible.
It's so bad.
You're gonna read it?
Such a bad...
What is it?
Your brother's lighting you up.
What? Lighten me up?
No, Fish's brother.
Oh, okay.
What's he saying?
He says, Sekiro was one of the hardest ones of the bunch and I knew Fish was weak.
He knows my body.
He does. He knows how much you can take. The man doesn't want to put you through any more pain.
That's what I said. I'm not going to break any controls this year.
Oh, God.
I'll stick with Luigi's Mansion.
Now,
Just quickly, I'll mention that
Yes.
this weekend is the final. Saturday, November 2nd, is the final for the Red Bull Fight or Flight tournament, which is the one that I took part in at PAX and obviously didn't get through to the final.
no, you did terribly.
But there's a $45,000 prize pack up for grabs, which will probably include some gear and maybe some cash too.
Not a small amount of moolah for being good at PUBG.
For being good at PUBG, and unfortunately, I'm not in that
I am
tier
not
of
good at
player. But one of the guys who I played with, his handle is Critical Motion.
Yep, critical motion.
But,
it's spelled in a very bizarre way. with a K.
I just had to visualize it in my head there. He is in the final, and he won the game when I played. But yeah, that's on this weekend. And hopefully we're going to talk to the winner. Could be Critical Motion. We'll talk to them next week.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, it's on in Carriageworks, or at Carriageworks, which is in Sydney. It's all going to be run on Omen PCs and gear, and we will hopefully chat to the winner next week, Julesy. Now, it's been a huge week when it comes to games.
Really?
I think we're really ramping up to the end of the year. We've got some big releases coming in the next couple of days, if not that have already come out. And Jules, I mean, you kicked it off with Medieval, which is a remake of... Is it an original PlayStation
It's a
game?
remaster of the
PS1.
original PS1 game.
Yeah, it was a great game.
It was a great game. I loved it when I was a kid. I
Mind
never
you-
finished it when I was a kid.
But you finished it now?
But it's short, but it's really good. Like when I say it's short, there's still a good 6 to 8 hours in it. But it's a cheap game. You can get it on the
only like
PlayStation Store for
$40.
$39.
Yeah, right.
And I've seen it in store for $34.
How does it look? I haven't really seen much of it.
Looks
like
great.
HD wise.
Yeah, like
it's
full
looking-
HD. Looks
looking
really
tasty.
good. But it's still got the same feel.
Yeah.
How it did back in the PlayStation 1 days. But
It's
obviously,
cartoony.
yeah. But the levels are designed exactly the same.
Yeah. Sir Dan, was it Sir Dan? Is that his name?
Yeah, Fortescue.
Fortescue. Sir Dan Fortescue.
Daniel Fortescue.
Yeah.
But they have this new edition in the game, which wasn't in the original. Once you complete the game, all these souls get scattered across every level, and then you have to go back through the levels, find the souls, and then each soul will give you a task to do in another level. So there's a lot of going back between levels.
Okay.
It kind of gives you a good excuse to go back and explore those levels that
playing, yeah.
you kind of powered through because it's such a short game. But yeah, it's really good fun, and for its price, you're laughing. Good Halloween title as well.
Excellent Halloween title. Speaking of, Luigi's Mansion 3 came out today.
Yeah, boy.
Fish, you were hoping to stay up until midnight to play this, but you crashed.
Yeah, I crashed out and then woke up at 3 o'clock and was like, okay, I'm awake now. Let's play some Luigi's Mansion.
Absolutely.
Played about 3 hours of it. It's great, man. It's everything that we were like getting excited about. I find like the physics of it are incredible. If anything, like everything moves when you walk around as Luigi. You knock into something and it moves. Everything's reactable.
Everything's destructible too, effectively.
Yeah, that too. So I haven't got too far, but I've just got Guigi.
Lovely.
Guigi, yeah.
Yep.
and started playing with that, and like he's slipping through bars and things like that.
He's like the Terminator.
I know.
That's the T-1000 of Luigi.
Of Luigi's world. But it's that classic Mario game where they talk in just like let's go, and you're gonna it's just all these sound effects going on all the time, and it just makes me so happy.
Do you want to do that again, just so I can have a new?
Yeah, that's good.
There you go.
And I have a new message ringtone
There you
now.
go.
Great.
You are welcome. But the thing I like the most of it about it is the lighting in it. It's just got this really spooky, dynamic lighting that you would not expect from this type of game.
I watched a review of it, and they were saying the exact same thing. Apparently,
really?
even if you get close to the picture frames on the wall, they cast a shadow onto the wall as well. So literally everything is dynamically lit. I don't think it runs at 60 frames. I think it's a 30 frames per second game, but by all accounts, it's got the best lighting that the Switch has ever had.
It's doing my head in actually that it looks so there are pretty games on the Switch, but this one is just next level. And like especially when your flashlight beam is bouncing off things and stuff like that. I'm having a lot of fun with it, and the animations of everything, like every ghost when you attack it, it's so satisfying when you suck one of those ghosts up.
Who are you gonna call? One criticism I've read online, and I haven't played the game myself yet. I've left my Switch at my brother's house, which is a mistake in hindsight. But he's a big Luigi's Mansion fan, so I'm happy for him to play it first. It was his first game that he bought his first console that he bought with his own money was the GameCube. This is when I was like 12, and I'm like, what do you want a Nintendo console for? Mate, it's all about the Xbox and Master Chief.
It's not cool, man.
And he wanted to play Smash Brothers, and thank God he bought that console, because that has changed
now
my...
you are
But yeah, I'm glad he'll be playing it. But one criticism I read was that the combat is a little bit basic. Have you found that?
Like, I haven't done enough of it for it to annoy me, I guess. But like I said, it's so satisfying when you are doing, because basically you got to flash a ghost and then you suck him up, and there's like a bit of a you pull on the left stick and then spam A, and you just start smashing the ghost. And so far, it's all it has been is satisfying. And I'm sure it will get repetitive because it'll probably be the same thing. But it seems like different ghosts, you have to do different strategies and stuff like that. But like, it's a kid's game at the end of the day, so and it holds your hand a lot. Like, even I was just like looking around at things, and I think his name's Egad.
Egad, oh my god, is he as intrusive as he was? Did you play Dark Moon?
No, I didn't play Dark
Oh my god, on the 3DS, that was painful. But anyway,
probably because he is in your ear the whole time, being like, "Stop mucking around and go and get my briefcase." And you go, "Like, dude, I'm looking around. I'm trying to get coins. Come on."
Yeah,
I'm trying to get coins, man. Give me a break.
So, but to me, that's like, an 8-year-old is lost and needs some help, and that's fine. Like, it's an easy game. It's great to play at 3 o'clock in the morning. I can tell you that much.
I would imagine 3 o'clock in the morning on a Halloween day too.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to giving that a go. I cannot wait. I'm super pumped. We also have another couple of kiddie titles coming out this week, which are actually really hard to play.
I wouldn't say these are kiddie titles.
No, they're the re-releases. It's a pack of the Lion King and Aladdin game, which came out. I remember playing the Lion King on PC.
Oh,
and the only bit I remember is trying to jump on the giraffes' heads.
Yeah, it was so hard.
During that Can't Wait to Be King.
Just can't wait to be king. It was all like psychedelic and stuff, like in the movie.
Impossible, like really, really hard to do. So I don't know if they've made it a little bit easier. It says, it's a love letter to unforgiving childhood gaming is the headline that Jules has up right now. So I
want to know, is the Aladdin version the Mega Drive version or the SNES version? Because they were different.
Yes, they were very different. I'm not too sure which is which. I
smashed the Mega Drive one, and it was...
The Mega Drive one was much better from what I remember.
Yeah, it was a great game. Oh man, it was so good. The Cave of Wonders levels. Whew. Get on that magic carpet. Damn, son.
Look, I've heard really good things. I've never played the Mega Drive version. It is the Sega Genesis.
That one's a bit easier than Lion King.
Might have to pick that up then, even though it would be
a
good
one to play. It's really expensive though. It's like $60.
Yeah, I know. Well, they're gouging us for everything that we've got. That's for sure.
Look, I didn't realize though. It comes with, in addition to the Sega Genesis version, it comes with the incomplete demo version.
Okay.
A Final Cut version, a Japanese version, and 2 bonus games that were on the Game Boy.
I've heard the Japanese version is different.
Right.
Mate, you're not playing the Japanese version of it. You're going to play the original and you're going to be done.
I've played that original so much, the Japanese. Yeah, I guess.
And the Lion King includes
$60 though. You paid $40 for like a full HD remake of Medieval.
Yeah,
these are 16-bit games.
This is a bit of a cash grab. I mean, Lion King and Aladdin came out in the cinemas this year.
True. So, and I'll probably buy it. So.
Look, for anyone that's watching our show from Pakistan, we know we have a few fans on our website there. Oh, yeah. It's really hot in Melbourne at the moment. It was 33-point-something degrees today, and I am sweating like a beast. So let's power through these last few.
All right, so Outer Worlds came out this week as well.
The Outer Worlds.
I really want to play that. That's from the guys who made New Vegas, Fallout New Vegas.
It's got very big Fallout vibes to it. So
apparently it's better. Haven't played it though. Meso's excited for it. Is it a new update to Tarkov?
Yep, update 12.
Update number 12, he's saying. Apparently it's really, really good. Yep. / quote, game changer. And Death Stranding comes out next week. Now, before...
Oh, it's actually coming out?
It's coming out. Yeah, the game that seemed like it's been an eternity away.
I need something to hype me up about it, because I'm not feeling it at the moment.
Neither am I.
I actually know very little about it. I just know that I want to play it.
You're actually keen?
Yeah. Well, I was very keen... when what's his name Kojima was doing the Silent Hill PT, because that if you remember back in the day, the playable teaser for the Silent Hill game that was going to have Norman Reedus in it was absolutely outstanding. It was the scariest thing I've ever played, and it was just a really good game. So when they were talking about those, like, he's an actor, but like those two teaming up again, I've just been like, all right, I'm in. I don't even know what it's about.
I still don't understand what the game
I don't know.
Is about. I honestly haven't
kind of want to keep
read too much into it. But what I thought was interesting this week is Conan O'Brien is in the game.
I think they just did that as a joke.
No, there's an item that he gives the player, an otter hat, and then you can swim in the water like an otter. It threw me a bit.
That makes me want to play it even more. That's like Untitled Goose Game ridiculousness.
Yeah. I did actually watch that Conan O'Brien remote as well. Yeah, I've seen that. I thought it was a joke.
No, I think it's you get a sea otter suit. When you get connected with him, with this suit, you'll be able to swim easily in the river, and you won't be drifted away. It's legit.
Okay, great.
There's a rainbow.
Yeah, I genuinely feel like this game is not one I'm going to buy straight away. I think I've got too much to play already.
Yeah, it'll be a Christmas game.
Yeah, maybe early next year if I don't get caught up with everything else.
Oh, but everything else that comes out
just quickly, year. Adam says that Outer Worlds is so good. Fallout in space.
Adam, we might need to ask you for your review. Adam can probably join our panel. He's always on board here.
He's got something to say.
I love it.
We love it.
And just really quickly, if you watched last week's show, I was very keen to jump on Call of Duty. It was coming out on the Friday. Yeah. I said I was going to buy a PlayStation Plus specifically for it. I didn't get to buy it on the Friday. I picked it up on the Saturday, went to the shops, watched Ready or Not, that new movie about the family who wants to kill the new bride.
Yeah.
Surprisingly good, by the way. Yeah, not a rip snort 10 out of 10, but a solid 7 or 8. Really had a good time with it. Bought Call of Duty, took it home.
And now you're the #1 Call of Duty player in the world?
Well, I wish. That would have been the case had I actually played a second of the game. I put it in my PlayStation, and it took like 20 minutes to download what was on the disc. And then it said 58 gig patch, right? And I'm thinking, I don't even have the NBN at my house. I'm going to have to go to my mum's house. So I brought my PlayStation to my mum's house along with the Switch so that we could download Luigi's Mansion preloaded.
Yeah.
And when it came up, I should have got the image for this show. It literally told me it was going to take 58 hours to download initially. I think it did it overnight. Oh, no. But I've been so busy that I haven't been able to go get my PlayStation back off from Mum's house. So now I've just not been able to play this thing I spent $70 on.
Hopefully you can play a little bit of it. I hope the campaign is really good and it's really intense.
Yep.
That's what I want. That sounds good.
Your
mum can review it.
Could you imagine? My God. Please. You have no idea what was going on.
Oh, here we go. Adam says the new COD campaign is pretty incredible. Oh, and it was 130 gigabyte download on PC.
You're kidding me.
Oh my God.
Is that because they've just got better textures, or?
Yeah, the texture download.
It's full.
I don't think they've been very considerate to the Australian players, considering that probably in the US that wouldn't take that long to download.
Nah, that's like an hour.
With Red Dead Redemption 2, obviously there was a massive download for it, but they had 2 discs.
Can I just be honest? When I went to fit Call of Duty on my PlayStation. I didn't have enough space. So I had to go into the system and work out what I was going to delete. And after going all the way down that list, nothing gave me more satisfaction than deleting Red Dead Redemption 2 from my console.
No, I can't.
I don't want to finish it. I don't want to play it again. At chapter 6, I'm sick of that game. It was boring. The controls sucked. How they gave it a 10 out of 10 is anyone's guess. It did not deserve it. It's a bad game.
No, it wasn't a bad game. It wasn't a 10 out of 10.
No, but it was like a 7. It wasn't like
8.
No,
8.
You're giving it an 8 because of its name and because of how detailed the NPCs were. Nah. I feel like the actual gameplay.
It took me a long time to get into it because of the gameplay. The controls were. We're gonna go down a rabbit hole here. Let's keep going.
Yeah. We can complain about that.
Benny likes my t-shirt. Benny likes my t-shirt.
Yeah. All right. Ben says Julian wins t-shirt of the episode.
That was pretty cool.
Fish's brother said he had to delete 50% of his Steam library to make space for it. It's insane.
Your pajama top's not too bad either, Sam.
Pajama top?
Pajama top.
Mate, I like this top. How dare you?
I like it.
This is one of my faves. I wear it all the time. All right. Look, you can keep up to date with everything we do on social. I'm a bit upset now. I don't know if I can continue on with the episode. But remember, we're going to be giving away these 5 double passes to see Frozen throughout the week. Of course, it doesn't come in to cinemas for a couple of weeks, November 28th. We will hopefully be giving these away across our social platforms. Did you want to give one away on today's show, Jules?
Yeah, Patrick on YouTube.
Patrick on YouTube. Here you go, Patrick. This is for you. We'll put that in Freddie's claw. Fantastic.
That fits there really nicely, actually.
Yeah, it's really
Thank
good.
you, Freddie.
We'll be handing out the remaining 4 in next week's show, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. Probably not. We don't use that, but Facebook and Instagram. And as always, thank you again for watching, gents. You playing anything this week? We didn't even talk about Terminator.
We'll keep it for next week because Fish hasn't
I haven't seen it yet, and we're going to dive into that next week. I'm going to go so hard.
I've been playing. It was a request to play, and it was on special on PlayStation. It was that Dead by Daylight.
I bought it. Was like $19.
Yeah.
I bought
So
it as
I
well.
bought it, and I got the Stranger Things expansion for it as well.
Nice.
But, I'm yet to really dive into it.
It's from what I've seen, it's a lot like the Friday the 13th game, which I've put a lot of hours into. So I'm pretty excited. And I downloaded all the character packs. I got Freddy. I got Michael Myers.
Oh yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Haven't played it yet though.
We could probably play it together.
Yeah, we should. I went and saw Zombieland. Double tap.
Oh, is that good?
Fantastic.
Oh,
loved
great.
it. Loved it. It was actually Kit's first movie.
Oh.
Our 3-week-old
Stop
boy.
showing your child inappropriate content.
He was
infant.
sleeping.
He's an infant.
He loved it. He was getting fed the whole time. But we took the challenge. We were getting a bit home. Cabin fever at home, and so we're like, let's go. We'll go to an early session. We'll sit off to the side with the pram down there. Took him in, and he was chill the entire movie. We got out, and then he cracked it. It was great.
Good timing.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
but a good movie. Yeah, really good.
I was worried about that because I love the original Zombieland. And this is like 10 years later.
Yeah, it is, and they do address that. But I watched the first one again, and then watched this, and I might have only liked this one a bit better because it's new and fresh. But I found watching the original again, because I loved it when it came out.
Yeah.
I've grown as a film watcher, and it's very much a teenager's movie, if you know what I mean.
How
it's like
sophisticated
it's
are you?
blood and gore and stuff, but nothing really happens. And I was like, wow, I didn't realize.
What do you mean? They meet Bill Murray. Plenty happens.
Kill him.
Pretty significant.
Yeah.
Well, but again, it's that type of movie, and the second one is more of that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are as well. I also hope that you've enjoyed this week's episode. We've chatted for a while. My God, what is the time? 8:41. We'll be back with you again next week. I can't believe we're 32 episodes into this season. It is into this year, actually. It's really hot. Thank you, Moondog Lager, for keeping me somewhat cool during this episode. We'll see you again next week, so good night.